Arcane Duelist. Today we're going to walk through the story of Sinful Spoils Lore. Thank you to Pinnipeds, Libertalia Game Supply, and GoldenNovaYugioh, which I highly reference to their content. And also thanks to YGOrganization for the translated content of the valuable book X4 from Konami. Here we go for Arcane Duelist version of Sinful Spoils Lore. Act 1. Tale of White Forest. Long ago, deep within the enchanted reaches of the White Forest, there lived a coven of witches led by Diabell, the wise and powerful queen of the White Forest. Under her guidance, witches such as Russia, whose blue bat-like familiars guarded her at all times, and Sylvie, whose communion with the wolves of the forest was unmatched, flourished in harmony. Two young witches in training, Estella, a shy book lover, and Elette, a playful troublemaker with a ghosty dragon friend, learned magic under Diabell's care. Life was peaceful until an evil force called Azamina rose from the forest's darkest corner. No one knew whether Azamina was itself a sinful spoil or something older and darker. Its corruption first manifests as thorny vines that snake their way through the forest floor, choking life and spreading devastation. Azamina's poison spread through thorny vines that choked the land. Strange glowing apples grew on these vines, whispering dark promise to anyone nearby. One day, Elette found one of these cursed apples. The whispers almost tricked her into eating it, but Estella stopped her. Rather than risk disaster, they brought the fruit back to Diabell for inspection. But as Diabell held the apple, those haunting whispers overwhelmed her. In that instant, the gentle queen's form twisted into something black and torn. Her nurturing roots became jagged spears. Diabell fought desperately to shield her appearance from harm, channeling her remaining magic into Estella and Elette. "Run while you still can," she pleaded, her voice fraying as Azamina's corruption clawed at her mind. With her final shred of clarity, she summoned Russia and Sylvie, her most trusted allies, to protect the two. But it was too late. By the time Russia and Sylvie arrived, Diabell's eye had dulled into lifeless gold. Her once gentle magic warped into writhing yellow thorns. She attacked her friends with feral fury. Russia and Sylvie fought valiantly, their spells weaving barriers to shield Estella and Elette. Yet, Diabell's corrupted power overwhelmed them. Estella narrowly escaped, screaming Elette's name as yellow vines dragged her back into the shadows. The thorns did not kill Russia and Sylvie. They hollowed them. Diabell's magic, now Azamina's puppet, burrowed into their minds, twisting loyalty into subservience. Elette, trapped and terrified, felt the corruption seep into her veins. Her screams faded to silence as Azamina's influence claimed her. In the chaos that followed, only Estella managed to escape. She fled the White Forest, but not empty-handed. She carried with her fragments of Russia and Sylvie's magic, their essence distilled into tiny crystallized shards. With her home lost, Estella saw vengeance. Act 2. Half of Vengeance. She learned of powerful cursed artifacts once willed by Diabell herself. The sinful spoils, relics forged from the souls of the forgotten and the damned. This cursed the evil of people whose souls were devoured by demons. Deciding to walk her former master's path to gain the power necessary for her revenge, Estella adopted the name diabellstar, the Black Witch. a title that honored her lost mentor even as it marked a new identity. Over time, she managed to acquire two of the Sinful Spoils, Sinful Spoil of Doom and Sinful Spoil of Betrayal. By infusing these spoils with the remnants of Russia and Sylvie's magic, the diabellstar complete their metamorphosis, their souls merging with her own. Armed with these relics, the diabellstar set her sights on the Azamina, determined to free her coven. Meanwhile, deep inside the corrupted White Forest, elites now controlled by Azamina fought fiercely against Morian, another witch who carried her own cursed relic, Sinful Spoil. Their battle weakened Azamina's grip on elites, finally freeing her from its control. Horrified by the destruction she accidentally caused, elites took Morian's cursed relic and renamed herself as Diabellstar, the original Sin Keeper. The glowing purple relic clashed with her once bright light, marking her dark new path. Like Diabellstar, she carried Diabell's name, a reminder of her mistakes and the legacy she had to honor. Act 3. The original Sinful Spoil. Diabellstar had gained her reputation as the Sinful Spoil Seeker and earned a bounty on her head in the underground city. As Diabellstar wandered the underground city, she discovered the location of another potential Sinful Spoil. She departed immediately for the identified location, the Divine Temple, a site dedicated to an ancient guardian deity. When she reached the Divine Temple, she saw that the guardian god people worshipped there have been robbed by the dark power of the Sinful Spoil. After mowing down the one-eyed creature inhabiting the ruins and reaching their deepest section, she encountered a massive eye glowing bright red, the Sinful Spoil Snake Eye. The instant the witch and the grotesque eye met marked the beginning of the hunt. From the burning blue flames, a massive dragon emerged, howling with delight at its first new prey in ages. This dragon, born from sealed Sinful Spoil, bore an ominous appearance, both resembling and constructing its former self as the land guardian deity. It spawned underlings from the blue flames that drifted from its body. Anyone caught in its gaze would freeze, unable to move a muscle. The underlings, born from azure flames enveloping the dragon, attacked mercilessly any animal threatening their mother, the Sinful Spoil. The battle raged fiercely. The dragon azure flames scorched the temple's rune-carved walls, and its forehead red eye unleashed a petrifying beam, freezing anything in its path. But Diabellstar was no ordinary foe. Wielding Rusalia's Sight, a fusion of Sinful Spoil Doom and Russia's Bad Light remnants, she sliced through the flame, exposing the beast's chest. With Sylvira's hellhound form, born from Sinful Spoil Betrayal and Sylvie's remnant beside her, she dodged the dragon's maw and shattered its cursed eye. The dragon struggled until the end, dragging its underlings into desperate fight. But Diabellstar ultimately extinguished its flame. The Black Witch believed she succeeded until cracks spread across the Sinful Spoil eye. Releasing bright light and blue flames, from within emerged a small dragon, Snake Eyes Poplar. For the first time, Diabellstar hesitated, yet she claimed it as just another Sinful Spoil. And after that incident, recently the magic items around her had grown weaker. Was it her imagination? No, Poplar was silently draining them. Act 4. Hunt of Poplar. As Diabellstar returned to the underground city, just as she considered researching Poplar and taking a break before her next hunt, explosion erupted. Countless headlights pierced the darkness. The Goblin Bikers, a band of outlaws based in the towers looming over the city, spot their chances. That little critter the Black Witch is carrying looks like one of them Sinful Spoil from the bounty poster, one spoken. While a diversion squad distracted diabellstar, the goblins snatched Poplar, who slept soundly amidst the chaos. Their trim faded instantly when diabellstar, demon-faced and furious, began pummeling their allies. Sensing doom, their leader Gabonga gambled everything. He unleashed the Goblin Crazy Beast, a magical monstrosity sealed in the waft, too wild for any rider. The beast, raging indiscriminately, radiated strange power, had swallowed the Sinful Spoil Aton, a relic Gabonga claimed on his great adventure. Started awake by the commotion or sensing the spoil's magic, Poplar Manos lunged at the beast. It meant nothing. Poplar devoured the creature whole, but something felt wrong. In a flash, it mutated into a towering flaming demon. The diabellstar shackled the beast and with hurricane force hurled it at Gabonga's crew. As the goblin bikers fled, a white shadow appeared. With mastery of the Sinful Spoil slumber, she sapped the demon's magic and plunged diabellstar and Poplar into a deep sleep. A frozen clock began ticking again. Diabell's gazed at the sleeping diabellstar, haunted by memories. If diabellstar hadn't stopped me from eating that cursed fruit, I would become Azamina's most twisted puppet, her greatest victim. You've gone at her. The White Forest fall, their mentors fallen. All traced back to her discovery of the fruit. Now wielding the original Sinful Spoil Poplar, diabellstar embarked on a solitary quest, a penance forged in the scars of her own corruptions. Azamina's corruption still lingered in her Scotch wines, a whispering rod that haunted her nightmares. She knew its taste too well, the seductive pool of power, euphoria of surrender. Even now, part of her feared that facing Azamina again would unravel the frail threads of her resolve. But this time, no compromise. She will stare into the abyss that once devoured her, and cut its throat. The White Forest fallen mentors, the rotten roots of her guild, they will all bear witness. Redemption was no longer a hope. It was a prayer. And if Azamina corruptions claim her in the end, at least the diabellstar will still survive as the last of White Forest. Act 5. Reunion. As diabellstar entered the corrupted White Forest, she thought bitterly of its former glory, now reduced to a tomb for those she failed. Years ago, the enigmatic magician Morian had nearly died purging Azamina's corruption from her. Now Morian stood transformed into Azamina's Mo Regina, a monstrous fusion of flesh and magic. The bell struck swiftly, her blade searing the last thread of Morian's cursed existence. As the creature crumbles, she whispered, "Thank you for saving me back then." Though Azamina Mo Regina was powerful, the bells had prepared truly, ensuring her defeat this time, a final mercy to free Morian from torment. Deeper within the forest, the bells found a monster with a familiar face, surrounded by roots and cursed fruits. The bells recognized her mentor, Diabell, but she was no longer the queen of the White Forest. She had become the queen of Azamina. The battle was brutal. Overpowered by the queen's root, the bells felt corruption seeping into her wines, threatening to control her as it had before. But with Poplar's power erupting within her, she transformed into the snake-eyed Doom Dragon. Scales tore through her skin as she roared, challenging Azamina's queen, who retaliated by morphing into a leviathan of thorns and flame. Saint Azamina. Their clash shattered the forest. Meanwhile, diabellstar awoke in a jail cell alongside the goblin bikers. Imprisoned after their earlier brawl in the underground city, suddenly the wall of jail cell was drilled, and it was another member of the goblin bikers came to save their boss and gang. Before they could react, the wall exploded, not from a rescue attempt, but from Azamina's soul acquisition, a closer beast formerly linked to the Sinful Spoils Aton, now corrupted by Azamina. Forced into an easy alliance, diabellstar and the goblins fought the creature, victorious but battered. They escaped into the rain-soaked night, only to face two more horrors outside. Diabellstar could feel intense Azamina corruption even from distance. But diabellstar felt there was someone she used to know. Upon closer look, only left with shock. Those monsters are her once beloved mentors. Even though they have transformed as a bat-like and wolf-like abomination, yet diabellstar still able to recognize them. It was Russia and Sylvie, but no more. Now they are Azamina, Mu, Russia, Lago, and Azamina, Iulia, Sylvia. First time in a fight, diabellstar froze. Diabellstar felt hopeless, unwilling to accept their fate. She always having hope to become stronger by collecting powerful relics, just to save them from Azamina corruption. While diabellstar struggled on accepting fates of her mentors, she heard voice in her head. It was from her sinful spoils. No, it was from her mentors' remnants. It was the voice of Russia and Sylvie. We are with you, as always. As Lago and Sylvia attacked, diabellstar summoned the Hellhound counter Sylvia, while she blocked the Lago's strikes. Now diabellstar have only one thought. If I can't save you all, at least I will release you all from hell. The battle ends with both creatures fallen. No victors emerge, only guilt. Guilt of not able to save them. Guilt of killing them. However, the voices of Russia and Sylvie reminded diabellstar, one still lives to save. As diabellstar prepared to leave, the goblin biker who stunned from the recent battle offered her a ride as a token of gratitude for exiting the jail. Where to? The goblins asked. diabellstar answered, White Forest. Act 6. End of Sins. Entering the corrupted White Forest proved more perilous than anticipated. Corrupted roots lashed at intruders, and the goblin bikers suffered heavy losses before stumbling upon the climatic clash between the snake-eyed Doom Dragon and Saint Azamina. The dragon, outmatched, reverted to its original form, the wounded diabellstar and Poplar. As Saint Azamina prepared a final strike, diabellstar intervened, blocking the blow and saving the two she come for. Diabellstar, who watched to end this alone, felt unexpected relief at diabellstar's arrival. Without hesitation, diabellstar fused with Poplar, transforming into the Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon. The Titans collide, their power shaking the forest to its root. But even this form fell to Saint Azamina's overwhelming might. Similar fate to Snake Eye Doom Dragon, Snake Eyes Vengeance Dragon had fallen and recovered back to diabellstar and Poplar. As despair loomed, Poplar began to glow with swirling green and purple energy, its form shifting until it emerged pure white, a radiant fusion of all the diabell's power. Channeling this energy, diabellstar and diabellstar ascend to their ultimate forms. Diabellstar, the Sin Adjudicator, and diabellstar, the White Witch. Together, they charged Saint Azamina. Their combined assault triggering a cataclysmic explosion that nearly obliterated the forest. The Queen, gravely wounded, spoke with diabell's voice. save me. For a fleeting moment, hope flickered. Could they reclaim their mentor from Azamina's grip without killing another mentor? But the corrupted roots ensnare them, draining their power. It's too late for them to react and miss the chance to end Azamina. Saint Azamina absorbed their strength, morphing with the power of Sinful Spoils Snake Eyes, Doom, Betrayal, Slumber, and Aeton. At last, become her final form. Azamina, the absolute corruption. Diabell's consciousness flickered within Azamina, suffocating darkness. A single ember refusing to die. My student, I swore to protect them, not destroy them. She clawed at the corruption binding her soul, tearing through memories of Estella's laughter, Ilet's determination, and the warmth of her apprentice's trust. Azamina's voice hissed, "You are mine." But Diabell roared back, "I am their queen." Channeling the remnants of her original power. The magic she poured into diabellstar and diabells years ago. She seized control of her body, if only for seconds. Her hands, half consumed by gated vines, glow with golden light as she ripped her own chest open. "This ends now," she screamed, her voice echoing with both her own resolve and Azamina's shrieks. The unstable fusion of Sinful Spoil within her sparkled like a star-gone supernova. Diabellstar, diabells, and Poplar were free as Diabell's body erupted into binding inferno. "Forgive me," she whispered, not to Azamina, but to the apprentice she failed. The explosion tore through Azamina's corruption, erasing her monstrous form in chain reaction of light. Diabell's final act was not destruction, but a mentor's wrath, appeared to cleanse her sins and shield those she loved one last time. Exhausted and injured, Diabellstar and diabells collapsed, grieving for their loss, hugging what they have left. Suddenly, they felt there were hands tapping them to comfort them, only to find out it was the spirit of their mentors. Diabellstar and diabells cried. Both of them felt guilt for failing their mentors, for not saving them, and for killing them. Spirit of Diabell looking them like a worried mother. Spirits of Rusia and Sylvie respond with a warm smile, and hugging them to comfort them, indicating their love never changed. For the first time in years, the apprentice felt warm. Not the searing heat of battle, but the gentle glow of their mentors. However, it's their time to go. Before their spirits vanish, they use last of their magic to recover the damaged White Forest back to its original state. With the restoration of White Forest, Diabellstar and diabells rebuilt their home, joined by Poplar, now a guardian of the renewed White Forest. Though scars remain, peace blossomed. Together, they vowed to protect this fragile peace. A future forged not by relics or vengeance, but by the bonds that even Azamina's corruption couldn't destroy. That concludes the ending of the Sinful Spoil Lore based on my research of various online resources. In the next section, I will discuss different types of final acts and malicious theories within the story, including why I chose this particular conclusion. Lastly, I will reference a few examples tied to the Sinful Spoil Lore. For the final act of Pinnipeds and GoldenNovaYugioh version, basically the flow is a bit different, as in diabellstar come to save the day and save diabells. When they're fighting, Saint Azamina transforms into her final form, Azamina. And throughout this fight, Poplar have awakened his power, consists of diabellstar and diabells power together, and that let both of them transform into their final form. And with this final form continue to fight, Poplar have merged with diabellstar together to become the Execute Dragon. And with the final fight, the Execute Dragon have win, and Azamina have finally be destroyed. In the next section, I will explain about different theories, my assumption and my thoughts, and this also including how I come up with this final act, this version of final act. First theory is Diabell's relationship to Estella and Elex. Is Diabell the mother of Estella and Elex? From what I think, yes, but not by birth, but through creation using her power. Estella and Elex are creations of Diabell's Sinful Spoil, which is why they can use Sinful Spoil while retaining their sanity. They can even combine with the original Sinful Spoil, Snake Eye. Second, Diabell's connection to the White Forest. Is Diabell holding one of the Sinful Spoils that created the White Forest? I believe so. In her artwork, she holds a relic-like symbol emitting green and purple auras, which are also part of Estella and Elex. These symbols appears among other White Forest members, suggesting the White Forest originated from this relic. Third, Azamina as a Sinful Spoil. Is Azamina a Sinful Spoil? Yes, likely due to its overwhelming power, and the stories focus on Sinful Spoil as pivotal relics. However, Azamina could also be an ancient artifact linked to a future deck archetype. Phonk, the fate of the Divine Temple. From Story 15, the mysterious Sinful Spoil, from valuable book X4, there's a phrase described as the Divine Temple where the guardian deity of this land was venerated, had been twisted by the influence of the Sinful Spoil Snake Eyes, turning it into an atrocity. The Divine Temple likely suffered the same corruption as the White Forest, a civilization rocked by a Sinful Spoil. Survivors may have fled to discuss the Sinful Spoil Snake Eye in an underground city, and I believe that might be the survivor who spread this news to diabellstar at the first place. Fifth, Morgana's role. Morgana currently represented by the Morganite series, a monster card with 3 powerful fragments. Raise questions: why is she fighting corrupted Elex? Is this part of her own quest, or did she stumble into the corrupted White Forest? The battle's backdrop, a seascape with a windmill, suggests it occurs outside the White Forest. Could Azamina have sent Diabell to collect Morganite fragments? Notably, Azamina's final form has 4 glowing orbs matching 3 Morganite fragments, and a blue bird, possibly a future card. Saint Azamina's Golden Goddess form might combine Sinful Spoils and Morganite fragments. And these theories are contribution factors for my final act of Sinful Spoil. Snake Eyes Execute Dragon defeat of Azamina's final form could stem from its aura matching the curse of Diabell. However, this doesn't explain the Saint Azamina's transformation, and I see both Execute Dragon and Doom Dragon are near equals. Diabellstar's extra Sinful Spoil may tip the balance, yet I don't think the difference of strength would make diabellstar and Azamina in final form. Additionally, a possibility that both transform to dragon together would be low, because Doom Dragon likely fought Saint Azamina before diabellstar arrival. As shown in artwork, where Diabell was surrounded by roots and wanted to break free, it should be continuous of Azamina Apex. Furthermore, Poplar's latest form empowered by diabellstar and Diabell's pure dragon transformation suggests Diabell's Sinful Spoil was temporarily restored, which I believe this is the time both apprentices get their final form from Poplar. While Saint Azamina might be able to take care of them and absorb to become the final form, but I believe Saint Azamina no match against to their latest form, which Saint Azamina can only use some tricks to win. And this allows me to show more content about Diabell, Queen of the White Forest. Because I think with this version of Final Act, Diabell seems more complete as a character, and justify the ending of Azamina final form because from the artwork. I believe there is a higher chance Azamina final form was destroyed inside out, which should be self-destruct, in addition to absorb Morganite fragments to transform into this final form. Elements of unstable with the final form with all Sinful Spoils and Morganite would seem reasonable. Besides of the final act, in between stories, I also try to add some motifs and emotions to characters, especially to diabellstar and diabells, because I think that justify their actions and run the stories. There are multiple unique symbols found in Sinful Spoils Lore. Not sure the meaning of these symbols, but these symbols referring different forces in the universe, including White Forest, Goblin, Morganite, and Azamina. Starting off Sinful Spoils Lore is a reference of Eve eating the forbidden fruit, and this act marks humanity's loss of innocence, introduces sin, and explains suffering, often referred to as the fall of man. Besides, if including Azamina and diabells holding as a sinful spoil, there will be a total of 7 sinful spoils, which seems to be coincidence number with the 7 deadly sins. But I can't really connect them besides the number of 7 and about sins. If any viewers can relate this, feel free to comment below. Regarding Azamina's final form, it seems strikingly different compared to the Queen of Azamina and Saint Azamina, transforming from corrupted roots and a human-like monster into a golden goddess surrounded by divine star. While referencing the 7 sinful spoils tied to the 7 deadly sins, is Azamina's final form a reference to Lucifer Morningstar? Pride, the first and foremost of the 7 sins, aligns with Lucifer Morningstar, who is described as one of the most beautiful angels. However, these are just my assumptions. Feel free to share your theories or reference. For more detailed reference, check out the video by Libertalia Game Supply in the description below. He covered deeper analysis of character, name, and story connections. That's all for today. Hope you like this version of Sinful Spoils Lore, and leave comments if you have other interesting theories. Arcane Duelist signing off.